Yesterday, Maazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, was in court for the no-case submission that was filed by his team, I think way back in June.
You're taking this way. How are you? Good to see you. It is well. It is well. Bless you, brother. Bless you. Thank you very much. That's a quick picture.
After the federal government of Nigeria filed their fifth witness, from which they said that they've been able to provide enough evidence and enough witnesses, to prosecute Maazi Nnamdi Kanu, and they went ahead to close that case. And immediately, Maazi Nnamdi Kanu's defense team filed a no-case submission saying that Nnamdi Kanu has no case to answer, that federal government of Nigeria, have not been able to provide enough evidence to establish prima facie, that he actually committed any crime of terrorism and treasonable felony. But unfortunately, that very case of no submission was dismissed by Justice James Omotosho. In an argument that is readily available from that very ruling, Justice Omotosho argued or stated in clarity that the federal government of Nigeria had been able to establish a prima facie, that they were able to provide substantive evidence to prove their case beyond every reasonable doubt that Nnamdi Kanu actually committed the act of terrorism and treasonable felony. He also went further to say in that judgment that Nnamdi Kanu's defense team did not provide any substantive evidence on the allegation of the brutal, extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya back into Nigeria. They claimed there is no evidence provided by Nnamdi Kanu's defense team. So he maintained categorically that Nnamdi Kanu must put up his defense and come and defend himself in the court over the terrorism and treasonable felony, charges against him. At this material time, it is safe to say that Nnamdi Kanu has not been found guilty for the fact that court dismissed the no-case submission that was filed by his team has not made him any guilty. For the fact that court agrees that federal government of Nigeria has been able to provide substantive evidence, to prove a prima facie or to establish a prima facie that Nnamdi Kanu committed those crimes. Nnamdi Kanu is still innocent until proven guilty beyond every reasonable doubt. So Nnamdi Kanu will now go ahead to set up his own defense team and counsel in order to actually prove his innocence, that he never committed any of those crimes. More so, there was back and forth argument over Nnamdi Kanu's health challenges and health issues between DSS, Nnamdi Kanu's private medical consultant, and that Nnamdi Kanu's team is requesting that he is transferred to a national hospital to receive adequate medical treatment, that his health is deteriorating. The leader of Maazi Nnamdi Kanu's team made this request to the DSS and to the court. So, concerning Nnamdi Kanu's health issues, Justice James Omotosho has commanded that a committee be set up by the Nigeria Medical Association, an 8-man or 10-man committee which will involve the medical directors of those hospitals, so that they will conduct further testing on Maazi Nnamdi Kanu to find out the true health status of Maazi Nnamdi Kanu, to also go further to ascertain whether Nnamdi Kanu actually requires a transfer to a national hospital That committee will also go further to find out whether the DSS has the capacity from their facility to manage Nnamdi Kanu's health. So it is until after that very committee is set up and they do this health check on Maazi Nnamdi Kanu, decision will be made by the court. They were given 8 days to make that decision. However, Maazi Nnamdi Kanu's personal medical consultant, one Professor Martins from University of Nigeria, Nsukka, argued that Nnamdi Kanu's health is deteriorating. Yes, that he needs urgent medical attention. From the findings he made from the medical examination of Nnamdi Kanu's health, he went further to recommend that they should either fly Nnamdi Kanu abroad for proper medical attention or transfer him to a national hospital in Nigeria to receive the adequate medical attention. Meanwhile, Justice Omotosho equally added that the Nigerian Medical Association should include cardiologists and neurologists in that committee that is to be set up so that they can do adequate, check on Nnamdi Kanu. But the Nnamdi Kanu's medical consultant is saying that what the result that DSS provided about Nnamdi Kanu's health is not totally right. That Nnamdi Kanu should be given adequate emergency on medical attention. But DSS is insisting that Maazi Nnamdi Kanu's health can be managed in their facility. And this was what compelled Onyechi Ikpeazu, the lead lawyer of Nnamdi Kanu's defense team, to say that Nnamdi Kanu deserves to be alive, for justice to prevail. He needs to be alive to be going to court for justice to prevail. That Nnamdi Kanu should be given attention to and subsequently be transferred to a national hospital. So these are the situation. The next court hearing, the trial will begin. Nnamdi Kanu will go to court and begin to defend and prove his innocence. And I believe his defense team will also provide evidence on the brutal, extraordinary rendition from Kenya back to Nigeria. So the team will definitely prepare themselves for what is ahead, because now the trial will begin based on the 7 count charges against Nnamdi Kanu, of which the biggest of them is terrorism and treasonable felony. So, but at the end of the day, all we pray for is justice to prevail, because we saw what happened to Simon Ekpa in Finland. It was less than 6 months, everything was concluded. But in Nigeria, it is back and forth argument here and there. A case that has lasted for more than 4 years now. They keep moving, they are using politics on the whole thing. This president will come, they will use it to bargain with the Igbo political elites. So it is terrible and crazy. I hope that Nnamdi Kanu gets the required justice he deserves. And finally, all these issues are laid to rest. Even though it is terrible enough that we live in a country where known terrorists with guns, with different kinds of arms and ammunitions are working freely, negotiating with government officials to have peace, while a man is being held at the DSS detention facility for more than 4 years now. It is terrible, but ultimately, at this point, I will allow you guys to be the judge. Don't forget to let me know what you think in the comment section and share this video. May another person see him. God bless you.